Hello Australia, welcome to another Couch Extra. It is always a great pleasure to have this next person on the couch talking health as always he does. Frank Prokop, it's over to you.
Thank you, Fred, and it's been a wonderful season. Hope we all enjoy the break and come back next year. I'm joined on the couch today by Brennan, who's the CEO of the Health Consumers Council. An extremely difficult job, I know because I held it at one stage. Welcome to the couch, Pip.
Thank you, Frank.
Trying to be the peak body representing every single health consumer in Western Australia must be very difficult. How do you go about trying to set your priorities?
That's such a good question. I think there's a lot of different things that we look to. Say, for example, we have two main things we do. We have individual advocacy, and we also have a program around consumer and community engagement. So in terms of the individual advocacy cases, sometimes we find things are coming up over and over again, and that really pushes up something that shows that we've got to do something a bit more strategic around this. And then with the consumer and community engagement, there's a lot of different drivers for, you know, what's the most important thing you should try and focus on now. It does get a little overwhelming. Health is complex and large, but yeah, it's kind of, I guess, the main ways we develop a strategy. So as like all not-for-profit organisations, we're member-based and we're very interested in what our members are interested in too, and you know, we really try and work in a collaborative way with people who are actually using the health system.
Many of our viewers may not know that every hospital and almost every function within health has consumer representatives that are part of it. While there's still a lot of room for improvement, you're always looking for people that are concerned and have a lived experience so that they can help to make the health system better. What can they do to try and engage better through the Health Consumers Council?
Well, we have, as mentioned, we have our consumer engagement program. So anyone who's had a health experience, what they have then is that they may not realise it, but they have an expertise, and that's the expertise of the lived experience. And so when that partners with a health service and their knowledge, what you then get is partnering towards better health services. So specifically what people can do is they can have a look on our website, and we run training quite regularly for people that are interested in exploring whether they want to be a consumer representative or a consumer advocate and all the different committees that are out there.
So we're looking for improved partnerships. So
Yes.
we're trying to bring a wider expertise so that we can help improve the processes that benefit consumers and the quality of healthcare ultimately.
Correct, yeah.
And you offer the training for the people that can come through and make those meaningful changes. So if you do have enough interest, they can contact Health Consumers Council.
Absolutely, yes.
And on the individual area, the things don't always go perfectly according to plan. If someone's had experienced some difficulties, you offer an advocacy service. Can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really know what advocacy is, and they often think it involves lawyers, but the sort of advocacy we're talking about is a really flexible approach of providing support for people, because sometimes people just want to know where they need to go to get the service they want. Other times they're seeking ways to give feedback and to create change. And so we essentially work with somebody. We give them enough information so they can make informed choices about what they may or may want to do next. So for example, if they do want to access a complaint process, to understand what that would look like, what it might achieve, so that they can then decide whether they want to be involved and how they want to help. Do they just want us to help them write a letter, or do they just want us to point them in the right direction? So it's really something, it's not a best interest thing where we think this is the best thing for you. It's actually about trying to work out what is it that the person wants and help them to achieve that.
So it's a facilitative process, and it's always outcome focused.
Yes,
so
it is,
the consumer can't come to you and just say that they want to make a complaint to create trouble.
No.
They've actually got to have an endpoint that suits them and their individual circumstances.
Yeah, and look, I think people actually have lots of really positive things that they want to say about their experience too. Often an experience is not all bad. There's often lots of really good things, but one bad thing will kind of really make a difference to make the whole experience seem to be very different. And it's not always a clinical thing. For example, you might have fantastic clinical care, but as you're leaving the hospital, you're trying to find out where the pharmacy is. 6 people are really horrible to you, and then you feel quite differently about the experience. So it's not just about clinical care. But I think the process of giving feedback is really important. You can't actually create change unless you give feedback. And I think it's really interesting, as a patient, you can feel, I'm talking in the hospital, but also in the GP setting, you can feel really powerless, but in fact the opposite is true. You know, you really do have the opportunity to create influence and change.
And as the peak body, if you identify an issue, you can, if you like, push it up the system. So you can take it to the more senior levels and try and get some of those wider processes improved. So you don't have to feel like you're one person in a huge system.
That's right, and I think, you know, the Health Consumers Council, we are given the opportunity to be at a range of different tables, things like the clinical senate, and it's really up to us to really use those seats at the table positively.
So if you're feeling like you are a health consumer, and we all are health consumers, and you would like to make a difference, you can get in contact with health consumers and you can engage at the different levels.
Correct, yes.
So if you would like to be involved on a hospital advisory committee, you're looking for people to help in that regard. If you've got an issue that you'd like to see resolution on, and particularly if you've got some positive feedback, it's really important that the health system works sometimes in spite of itself, but it does a pretty good job overall.
Yeah, it really does, yeah. There's a lot of really wonderful things going on out there, and I think what we're really trying to get is that message of partnership, and that starts with the one-on-one relationship with the clinician and the patient, and it also can go right out, you know, push right out into community, and that's, I think, where the change is.
It's absolutely wonderful. If you're interested in going to the next level, the Health Consumers Council's on the website, or you can go to the Couch website. Fred, we look forward to following up on some of these issues. Thank you again. Over to you.
Good on you, Frank. It's always nice to have Frank in. I'm looking forward to having you back next year on the couch. Just quickly, Pip, can I just ask you a quick question? What's your website for people? Look into camera 4 and just tell us quickly what the website is, please.
So our website is www.hconc.org.au. That's it, hconc.org.au.
Well done, and thank you. Frank, did she do a good job?
She's pretty sensational.
Wonderful.
She does a better job than what I did. So.
Well, clearly. No, but Frank's got a job with us for life. Thank you very much, Frank, and have a great end to the year, and we look forward to having Frank back at our Christmas party, but also next year on the couch. And if you enjoy what you see here on the couch, please let us know by writing to us. The details are on this website, and we'd love to see you watching our last show next week, our 2-hour finale at the same spot here on Aurora Foxtel. See you then. Bye-bye.